Good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome to all the chief guests, and a warm welcome to all the panelists, and a warm welcome to all the participants. So, thank you for being here. So, today, with this crisis, there's a lot of changes happening, and where one of the topic we have to discuss is about resource optimization in the restaurant and hotel industry. How we are going to survive and then sustain and grow. So these are the various topics that we're going to cover, and we have the experts. And I would like to kind of introduce our experts and the panel here. I'll just share my desktop for a while. So a warm welcome to Dr. Venkata Suppudu, sir. Uh, a warm welcome, sir. He is actually the president of Tamil Nadu Hotel and Restaurant Association and an executive council member of South Indian Hotel Restaurant Association. He's been a pioneer, and he actually has done so many intermediates, and he has helped the restaurant industry and hotel industry. So whether the government needs some support or the restaurant and hotel industry needs some support, he's there. So he is the man who actually everybody looks for from the both the restaurant and as well as the hotel industry. So a warm welcome, Venkata Subbu sir. We have our chief guest, Mr. Mahadevan. So he's a very unique, multi-faced, talented person. So he has more than 35 years of experience in hospitality and catering industry. He was instrumental in setting up the Epic brand Hot Breads in India and overseas. And he himself personally has created 50 plus bakers and restaurants, and he creates multiple brands. So, and then some of you would know is he was also a teaching professor once in University of Madras. A warm welcome, Mahadevan sir. We have Mr. Ravi sir. Ravi sir doesn't need introduction. He's the man actually behind all the restaurant changes that are happening. So everywhere there is a problem or an issue or their need, Mr. Ravi sir is there. So Ravi sir owns the brand Vasanthbhavan Hotels India Private Limited. He's a president and president of Chennai Hotel Association. A warm welcome, Ravi sir. We have Mr. Venkata Rao Reddy. He's a MD and of Venus Consultants. So he has 35 years in hotel and restaurant industry, and he has done more than 100 plus projects. And he actually trained the trainer. He trains people who are setting up the restaurant, kitchens, and hotels. So he trains people, and I'm sure he has a lot of training to be done with respect to the COVID as well and the new normal. And he's an equipment production designer, and he has done many units by himself. A warm welcome, Venkat sir. We have Mr. Ilangovan Rajendran. So he is an experienced GM, general manager. He has 30 plus years experience. He's skilled in catering, cooking, hospitality industry, team building, management. He's a very strong sales professional. So he's one of the gem general manager in the hotel industry. Currently, he is a senior general manager, Grand Chennai by GRT. A warm welcome, Ilago sir. We have Chef Naveen. So Naveen has 23 years in culinary experience. So he has headed Michelin Kitchen in the UK. He has created multiple brands in the Middle East and the US. He is currently a brand owner and a F&B consultant. He has traveled a lot across various South Asia and European countries to setting up cafes and giving ideas. Warm welcome, Mr. Naveen.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Suresh Chinnasamy. So he has worked abroad for more than 15 years, and he has come back to India, and he is instrumental in helping a lot of chain of restaurants. And right now he owns a restaurant, and he is also a celebrity chef. So recently he broke Amul cooking at home concept with 1 million viewers. So welcome, Mr. Suresh, Chef Suresh.
Thanks, Ramesh.
Uh, uh, Mr. Guduji, I think he's a foodie, he's a restaurant, he's a food critic. So the reason Guduji is here, we all know that Guduji goes, eats in every places. He knows a lot of food cuisines, and he needs an excellent service. So he's both from a food perspective as well as a service perspective. Nothing should be short less. So he is 100% perfectionist in the food. So so we're going to have some questions from him, like what is the change going to adapt from a foodie perspective. And not but least, we have Hema Manuvanan. She is the life coach and the NLP trainer. She is the first one to be certified by the NLP founder itself. Welcome, Hema. Okay, thanks everyone. So I'll start the session with our guest of honor, Venkata Subbu sir, giving some limelight on actually what is the changes that's happening in the industry and how the industry has to go from a resource optimization perspective. Sir, before that, we had one session. Dr. Pasupati and Chef Jugesh Arora and few other chefs and restaurant owner joined us on Monday. We have the video of that where we were talking about food and kitchen hygiene. So it was a very informative section. And the next section also we have with respect to winning our customer trust. So together as all the restaurants and hotels who have to work together to convince a customer to come and make sure that they're safe to eat. So with this context, I will give it to you to kind of give us some ideas about resource optimization within the restaurant and hotel industry.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. This is the need of the hour. I think it is a need of the hour. Definitely, everybody is much afraid of it. What will happen tomorrow? Whether we can get the business or not. Main, we are afraid only about the business. Next, to protect our laborers. What are the hygienic conditions? How will COVID-19 will spread? And what are all the impact? We are very seriously thinking about it. First of all, the business. We are expecting only 30% of the business in the coming months. That means for another 6 months. In the experience with so many other country people, even after reopening, only 18 to 30% of the business they are having. That is only in the restaurant. Banquet business may be zero for another 6 months. The same way outside catering also. So we are very much worried about it. How can we reorganize? It is almost opening a new restaurant. We are going to opening. The rent is killing us. Salary. It is very difficult to pay the salary without doing any business. But if we leave them, the good skills may left us. We want to retain the good skills also. At the same time, we are unable to pay the salary also. So it is a very critical time, but we hope some of the foreign companies are telling even after revival, if we come, we'll stay for a long. We come very rarely, but we'll stay for a long period. So local domestic tourists also will improve definitely. So with that hope, we are starting the meeting. I welcome you all. Then I will participate in the middle of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mahadevan sir, I would like to hear from you how this restaurant industry, from a resource, you've been a people person always. So you have helped your team, you have helped your team to be a partner in your organization. So what does one have to care about, like taking care of the people? And everybody's talking about people. Yes, we have to take care of the people, but then the cash flow is also a big challenge. So how do you think like we can address this situation? Sir, we are not able to hear you. Mahadevan sir, your audio is not clear. Hello. Sorry, sir. Your audio, still we are not able to hear your audio. Mahadevan sir, sorry. Maybe there is some problem with your phone.
Video also we are unable to see Mr. Mahadevan sir.
I'm able to see, sir. He's speaking actually. I'll what I'll do is I'll make him a co-host also. Magadevan sir, can you speak a little? We are not able to hear you. Hello. Okay. Sir, I'm going to wait for a minute. So if you have to fix your headset, because you were talking just some time back, there's some problem maybe. I'll come back to you with the same question because you are the right person to answer this question. Sorry, he is calling me. Sir, you are already in unmute position.
Okay, now you unmuted me. That's it. So I'm sorry about this technical glitch because my destiny is with you, Mr. Ramesh. You're to unmute. And thank you very much for calling me over. I've opened in 17 countries right now. And we have got the Saravana Bhavan, Anjapur, Kailash Parbat, Hot Breads, Cream Center. Across 17 countries, only one country we have opened to public. That's Dubai. That has happened 4 days back. And we have a footfall of about 8 to 9 customers per restaurant the whole day. It might be a Ramadan period, right? Right from Vancouver to Auckland, we're all under lockdown, including India. In some places, we are doing takeaways. Some places, even takeaway is not allowed. So in Dubai, for example, you're talking about people in Dubai. I've just handed over the keys of Cream Center. And in Paris, that's the first restaurant I opened in 1995. And after running so many decades, we had to surrender to the landlord because he wanted the keys back or the rent. We are unable to pay the rent because the rents are high. We shut down about 5 Saravana Bhavans in Singapore. One in Hong Kong, we have surrendered it back. We might surrender back in Bangkok. So what do we do with these people? In Dubai, we have the entire 40 boys of Cream Centers waiting to come back. People matters. Because I was invested by this private equity guys about 10 years back. They came in the form of running the business, ruined the business, and gave it to me back with 20 crores minus. I took over the liability because I wanted to save the jobs. We had 500 people. If I'd let go, the private equity guys would have surely passed it on as a, what do you call it, insolvency and close. That's what they do. And they don't care because they don't have a human face. I have nothing against them. It's the way they operate. Out of 10 investment, they make money in 2 and quit on the other 8. So I bought back my own company paying 24 crores of liability. Now I'm struggling. I have debts, but still we are paying whatever we could do for our staff because to this level, if I've been called for, to this level from a boy from Chennai has gone to 17 countries, opened 100 plus units, bakeries and restaurants. That's because of the staff we have. So at this juncture, we cannot let them go off, but you have to have a choice. Now today, about the migrant population, they've been asked to go home. So we've sent a circular in the Chennai units. We have housed them, we are giving them food, and we are packing ration kits for the migrant families. So all my boys are involved in packing, and we are delivering about 5,000 to 6,000 free meals. And these boys are helping me to pack and cook. And so far, nobody has protested. They are given a certain amount, and they are living with that because our bank balance is 0. But still, the way we approach people, we explain our problems, we talk to them one-to-one. Before the lockdown came, on the March first week itself, our sales started slipping. So we had a meeting with our boys. We started rotating. You will work 15 days. The other boys will work 15 days. So please share the jobs. This way we went on resource mobilization. So at this juncture, I don't want to take more time. I would like you to go ahead because you have an hour plus, so I don't want to keep on. My main thing is I built this pyramid and I went to 17 countries. It's because of the people who are behind me. It's not Madhavan, it's a teamwork. Today we are delivering KMC Hospital about 400 packs for the doctors and nurses. I am sitting at home. I'm 65 plus, diabetic, hypertension, all this because of the travel and various stressful. But my team is delivering at 6:30 dot mean 6:29 it will be with the dean in KMC. So people matters. We recognized it not now, Ramesh. We recognized it way back in 84, 83 when I started my first unit in Nungambakkam High Road. Till today, I can open in Vancouver or in Auckland. It's all delegated. It's a people which has brought me. So the participants should understand this business is a people's business. Let it be the guest or let it be the boys who work under you. Please take care of them at this time of critical pandemic season. We cannot let them go off. Do your best and share the pain with them and tell them that you're going through this difficulty. They should share the burden with you. It's not that there's a piece of cake I'm eating. So the best is to have a dialogue between you both. With this, I'll stop on the people. And if any further questions come in from other people, I'm willing to take it later after your discussions. Thank you for taking me in, Ramesh. I'm grateful and thankful.
Thank you, sir. That's a wonderful story and how you are teaming up. Very nice, informative. Ravi sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, first of all, I want to appreciate you because you're working around the clock to give food for the need. So that's a mission that the hotel industry has taken, and over 10 lakhs meals is being distributed across different places. So that is everybody in the industry has involved. Mahadevan sir is distributing 5,000 and you are doing 10 lakhs. So that's actually wonderful. So coming back to our business, because one part is the cash flow, the revenue, the food needs to be sold. So you maintain a chain of restaurant and you have helped many chain of restaurants. So going forward, do you see any need for menu changes or menu reduction perspective? So what do you would recommend all of us?
100%, sir. We want to reduce the labor. We want to reduce the food cost. We want to reduce the menu card size. Everything we want to do very soon. Okay. This is a very tough time. We will surveil. Maybe it's taking 1 year. 1 year is the same thing is happening. Same one. Okay. This is very tough time only. This all we want to do immediately. We want to cut the one, our seat is more than 300 seats is there. We can cut it only 100 seats only. So many things we want to do immediately. We want to, I don't know, this all, only one answer is there. When the vaccination is coming, our problem is solved. This is the main things. We don't know when going to be solved, when we going to be restart. We don't know anything. But we want still pray the God. I don't know this answer. It's the main things, only vaccination.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, Venkat sir, you actually carry a key role here because you have been trained people. You have a lot of many people actually following you. So, what would be your advice from a material perspective? Because everything is going to any purchases that's going to happen in the restaurant or hotel industry, right from procurement to groceries, everything matters. So, every penny matters from now onwards. So what would you recommend to this industry where to kind of thin line their the back end support that is needed?
Let me start off by saying probably this is the most exciting thing that can happen to all of us. I would say that we are moving from the steam engine time to bullet train time. So the transition is going to be really tremendous. We need to have a lot of understanding right from the very basics. Now, when I start saying basic, I'm talking about the very basics of how to plan your menus. A lot of us have not planned menus. We've others and started off. We have not worked on costing sheets. We have not worked on other things. I'm talking about the smaller and middle level people. I'm not talking about the big chains at all here. I'm sure the big chains have all the systems in place. This is the time when people need to understand their business from the start. When you talk about materials, now the whole scenario is going to change. You're definitely going to have a space which is to be earmarked for quarantining the material. You just can't take the material straight into the storerooms anymore. It's not possible. You need to have at least a basic quality and cleaning check space. You need to have people understanding that every material needs to be ordered only on the basis of requirement. You just can't keep on ordering more. Now the time is very tight. money is tight, owners are going to panic. And once all this happens, people are not going to understand the consequences to all this. The next thing that I say is staff, like what Mr. Mahadevan said. The right thing to do is make sure that all your staff is held back. Give them a 15-day rotation. So at least you have the whole team working for you and you have a 50% salary. So it is still possible. So it is all about each single person now trying to work as a team, all consultants, all owners getting together, seeing what we can share on platforms across, making sure that each and every one of us have put our ideas so that others can take it up from there and start moving forward. Now this is the most exciting time because changes are going to be inevitable. We are going to change from the regular format to probably QSR formats. We're going to change from what we have done to what now is the requirement. People need food. That's not going to stop. How we are going to deliver is going to change. How we are going to pack is going to change. How we are going to even cook the food is going to change. Now, I think the kitchen should start having schedules for people to come in at different times. One team comes in for doing mise en place much earlier and leaves, not stay there, leave. The next team starts doing the production and leave. So things like this need to be planned by chefs, by owners, so that we don't have too many people in one location at any point of time. Now, when we talk about social distancing, that's the most important thing. We need to give them space. So how can we give them space? Because we are a continuous operation process. We can't just stop something somewhere. And not only this, we now need to start training all our staff from top to level about the levels of sanitation that need to be maintained. Now, when I say training, train your trainer, train people who can train others. I know that every team have excellent people. Some of them are good people who can talk to people. Some are very good doers, so who can do things. So how do we identify them? It's best known to the people who are already working with each other. Take one step at a time. Every small step that we take is definitely going to give us results. Don't think of the big picture right now. Think of the small things that can be done, which can help you in reducing your costs, which can help you in motivating your staff to do a better job. Definitely, I have not lost any staff as of now. We are running with around 2,000, 3,000 plus staff working under us. We have ensured and promised all of them works. We have not told anybody we are going to cut works. And I have started working on the system of trying to talk to the higher level staff to give a bigger pay cuts, because a person who's getting a lakh of rupees, if he's cut more than 50%, he's not going to get affected. Whereas a 10,000 rupees staff, if I cut 5,000, I don't think that person will survive. So we are talking to our management people, trying to make them understand the realities that we have to take care of. We need to understand people. We need to make sure that the lowest most staff are the ones who are going to get hit the most. So we need to take care of them in a much bigger level than the staff who are already there. Having said this, I do understand that people are going to panic. Owners are going to panic. Staff are going to panic because it's a very uncertain period right now. But it's a very exciting period. Trust me, a lot of changes which are going to happen are going to benefit every one of us. Now is the time when we start listing out things that can be done and that cannot be done. There are a lot of things which we did which were totally redundant, which can totally be left out. And as a consultant, now is the time when I keep telling people that owners, don't look at heavy profits today. You look at survival more than profits. See how you can survive, because that is what is the requirement of the day now for the next, like what Ravi sir and others are saying. Probably for 1 year, we need to survive. Once we cross the survival, I think we will be back, not to the levels of business which we did recently, but definitely back to probably 5 to 10 years back. And then we can take it forward from there. Definitely our profitabilities will increase over a period of time. But the survival period is more about how we can sustain ourselves rather than looking at profits. Definitely, we are not going to make profits in the next couple of months or maybe even a year. So now is the time we start working on the very basic principle of hygiene and also the material management which need to be done at procuring materials, the right place, right time, and doing things like that. Of course, we can go ahead with this much later. Questions can be asked, and then we can start working on what can be done.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my next question to Ilangovan, sir. So you are an industry veteran and you have been GM for long, and I hear Star Hotels also consolidating some of the restaurants within the same premise. So instead of running 3 restaurants, run 1 restaurant, or like combine all cafe and restaurant. So is that true, and is it going to happen?
Good evening to all of you. I can see a lot of veterans are there in the industry, and then it's really nice to be connected in this platform. Okay, now coming to your question, yes, in the near term, the restaurants will get consolidated, and then that is the way forward because we keep talking about conserving the cash, conserving the manpower, and then everything. So if you want to keep your cost down and then to survive for this one crucial year, all these things consolidation will happen. So we will continue to see probably only a coffee shop is running or probably only one of your specialty restaurant and a coffee shop is running. That's what we are going to see. Given that the social distancing is there and we don't foresee more than 40 to 50% occupancy at any given time for the full year. So this is going to be the norm for this year.
Thank you, sir. Ravi, sir, with respect to that, I'll ask one question. It's kind of where I'm thinking. You know the restaurant industry where two restaurants are nearby and each restaurant actually fights for their customer. That used to be the typical before COVID. Post COVID, do you see any consolidation between the neighbor restaurants? One person is good in Chettinad, one person is good in North Indian or South Indian. Do you see any collaboration happening there? Because Star Hotel, it is one property, so they can do it. But then survival, we are talking about the survival. So do you see that is happening in the restaurant industry too?
We won't do, sir. We won't do that very soon. It's all only that the competition is very poor nowadays. After that, we're investing so many crores. How can we going to be survival? This industry is very tough time. We want to do something like what you said.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Chef Naveen, I will come back to you. You have done beautiful designs of a lot of hotels and cafes. So now going forward, people may or may not look. So what is your thought on how the restaurant should look, how the menus need to be curated? So what is your thought on that?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here amongst this forum of some legendary people and stalwarts of the industry. To answer the question, yes, I think that the design is still going to be something that people are still going to look at an ambience when you come into a restaurant. So it's probably the first thing that will attract you. But what will now change after post-COVID is like, is there enough distance between tables? Like, am I sitting too close to another person? So these are the things that people might look into the floor seat plan. So yes, the interiors can look beautiful, but yes, there has to be a lot of distancing in terms of where I'm sitting and where other people are sitting. So that's something that people will look into, and this might actually put off people from dining in the next 1 year, as people mentioned, because the business is not going to be the same level as it will be. So that is for sure with regards to the design. Now, as far as the menus are concerned, yes, we all think about optimizing our resources to suit the menu, but it is very, very imperative that you maintain the hygiene aspect of the culinary process and the deliverance into the restaurant. So I'm talking about only restaurants, people coming and eating. So that deliverance has to be completely hygienic. And I think all these contactless dining programs, we will see a lot more of them. Till, as Mr. Ravi pointed out, till that vaccine is found out and the magic is cleared. So till then, yes, there is going to be a lot of speculation on what menus will come in and how. No matter what you do, it has to be very, very hygienic, and it has to be put on the plate with a lot of HACCP features in it. So HACCP will be a very key player in this post-COVID era of our business.
Okay, thank you.
So I think these, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chef Naveen. Chef Suresh, you have been lately, you have run a big chain of restaurants, but lately you have been a cook and you are demonstrating a lot of things. So going forward, what do you see from a people's perspective? Because you interact with a lot of people. So do you see people coming to the restaurant, or like, because you educate people in how to cook food? So what is your perception? Are they waiting to come back to restaurant, or you see that they are learning from the experts and trying to do something in the home kitchen itself?
Surely they're going to come back, because reason nowadays they cannot be able to do anything. Just they're going to sit in the home. So just they're trying to cook the foods and all. Even if you see in the social media or the film star or movie stars or serial actors, they are cooking the food over the channels. The organization, what I am looking at a different way, like organization is the coordination of 5 Ms. So 5 Ms is the manpower and the money, material, machinery, and the management. If it is the management is good, it's everything gonna change according to that. Even whatever the social media works also, but the management, if it is good, everything is gonna be changed. Future days, this is like Chennai or Tamil Nadu, India, whatever the problems comes, they will change immediately. What the positive thing, they will come up very good things. Like most of the business owner will have a control the resources. Um, why they fail means because of the management. If they don't have a proper management, they're gonna fail. So if the success of the organization depends how well the management, the resources. I see the companies having the inventories of the warehouses. A lot of warehouses I saw, like if they're selling like a 2.5 lakhs per month, mean they're keeping the stock like a 7.5 lakhs. That is the reason they are failure. And the analysis, if I see the fast moving, slow moving, or non-moving items, they have to reduce the wastages. If the wastage is reduced, means we can come up easily. And the other things I want to tell you, like a menu regeneration, like higher inventory or higher means like theft, wastages, privileges. Because I run the restaurants most of the time, I also failed. The reason when I was take the statistics, like wastages or the food cost goes high. This is the reason, and avoid the overstuffing. I know the staffing is very very important, but this situation we have to try to control the staffing, like whatever we can. Like everyone having the one restaurant, I saw more than 200 to 250 menu in the menu card. Like we can reduce Indian, Chinese, tandoor instead of Indian, Chinese, like a 5 states food. We can keep it like a minimum menu, so it will be helpful for us. And don't go for the external borrowing, like the banks. This is the right time. Don't go for the external borrowing. It will affect for our business. This is all whatever I learned from my mistake. Just I'm telling you. And speak about maybe if you get the chances, landlord we can speak, because I'm going extra mile. Landlord, we can speak to the landlords. We can try to control our rent, or rent we can try to control. One of my restaurants, I spoke to in US. They say, okay, you don't want to pay. And even Cayman Island, I spoke to them. They said maybe 2 months. They just take care of my loans and all. And even Chennai, Tanjavur restaurant, one of my owner, I spoke to them 3 months. They say, you don't want to give a rent, Suresh. I understand your things. So some of the kind of the things, and the staff, I didn't pay like a 3 month salary, but we are giving the accommodation, or we are giving the food and all. But I saw a lot of restaurants, very difficult situation. But for my, according to my knowledge, everything is going to be good within 1 or 2 months. Everything will be all right, and the customer is going to come back with us nicely. That's it. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you, Chef Suresh. Venkat sir, Venkata Subbu sir. Sir, we are actually not in the, sorry. Venkat sir, can you hear us?
Yes.
You. What will be the future for the outdoor catering and the caterers? So,
Sir, it is difficult for another 6 months. Thereafter, it will pick up. Now, only with outdoor catering, that means takeaway, we are surviving. That is possible now. After 17th, I hope the relaxation will come. Now, only instead of 30%, it may go to 50, 100, like that. Then definitely it will pick up. Now, the people used to do, nobody wants to cook with a cook in the house or in the other places. So definitely it will improve. We need not much panic about it. Definitely the period will come, we will improve our business. But only the banquet hall, we are unable to utilize the banquet hall for some time. But other outdoor catering will definitely improve very soon. All the functions are postponed, so many functions. That functions will happen very soon. Then definitely we will improve our business in regard to outdoor catering. We need not much worry about the outdoor catering.
thank you, sir. Good to see. I'll ask you, Mr. Good Anand. You're being a foodie and you heard all those things from a customer and a foodie perspective. How would you how would you get along? Because restaurant owners and the employees and other restaurant owner are like kind of aligning with the current situation. As a consumer, as a foodie, how do you think this perspective? How do you help and how do you see this?
customer point of view. Are you able to hear?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
The main thing from the customer point of view is, see, if you cannot avoid restaurants at all, okay? My mom is 87 years old. Okay, I'm giving you an example. She is a very big foodie than me. She daily tells, when is Woodland going to open? I want to go and have my idlis over there. Okay, then she is not scared. I'll give you a small example. Don't think that people don't have money. We have seen the liquor shops open, people running towards like anything, and how much business they are doing. Okay, once when the restaurants also open up, okay, the people have to take their family out. We have been locked up for a long time. I don't think so. It will take much time. Only thing is, the restaurants management have to do some social distancing type, cut down the small sitting arrangement. They have to arrange the sitting arrangement that nobody can come into contact with each other and all this thing till the vaccination doesn't develop and all this thing. But the fear will overcome. In 2-3 months, as Chef Suresh also said, and I fully agree with him, another 2-3 months, it will be in a normal, I think so, because you cannot postpone your functions, you cannot postpone your marriages, you cannot postpone your birthday parties. People have to go along with the life. People have to live with this. The virus is here to stay for a long time. But we have to face it. We cannot be in fear of that virus. So I don't think so it will be a big issue for the restaurant. Only thing, they have to optimize their resources very carefully. And as you said, the menu has to be a little bit shortened for them to survive also. Because survival here, Mr. Venkata Subbu said that the survival has to be there first for another 2-3 months. As soon as they stand on the feet, it will go on normally. And I'm very optimistic, everything will go on smoothly, normally. One thing I would like to ask Mr. Mahadevanji here, you have hot breads everywhere. Okay, every nook and corner you have hot bread. Please start delivery on your own instead of depending on Swiggy, Zomato, Dando, and all these things. You can expand all the restaurants which have brands. Also, Mr. Ravi, Vasanta Bhavan. Instead of delivering into your nearby only 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers radius, they can expand to at least 5 to 6 kilometers or 7 kilometers. In that way, every customer can have directly from the restaurant instead of depending on the food aggregators and all this. Because the food aggregators also take up much more of the commission of the restaurant. And they charge us more. If a menu, suppose example, a Medu Vada costs 10 rupees for Vasanta Bhavan. Okay, Swiggy is going to charge me 15 rupees. On top of that, Swiggy is going to charge some 20-25% from Vasanta Bhavan also. Okay, so both are losing in that. So I want to do is that at least they can expand their delivery area. They can keep some people. If you don't want to stack your people over there, service employees and all these things, at least you can utilize them in this way of delivering the food directly to the consumer. That's my foodie perspective. Thanks, Mr. Ramesh. You can move on to the next panel.
The dark kitchen is being the trend in the recent years. So one question that was asked by the forum, and then we all have is, there's a lot of competition when the dark kitchen was opened. So do you see there is a lot of opportunity where the branded restaurant also can go with the branded the dark kitchens? Ravi sir, would you like to answer this?
What, sir? What's the question?
Dark kitchens, nowadays a lot of dark kitchens are coming in.
Yeah.
So we were initially we were little against it, but then we learned what is dark kitchen, and then branded restaurants are yet to come into the dark kitchens. So,
not, sir, we are not there, but somebody is there, somebody is not, maybe is there. It's Swiggy, we are also thinking about this, sir. Our industry, our association going to do these apps very soon. That also will help to reduce what Singh told me, that also we can reduce the price also. We can do that very soon.
Thank you, Ravi sir. Magadevan sir, yes.
Yes, to your question, yes. We have a brand called Vapo. We have a dark kitchen. We have Benjarong. We have opened Bangkok Treats, a dark kitchen. I mean, that's a way to go. I mean, because from Adayar, I can't be sending it from here. So we take a garage and we develop a brand. And tomorrow, I think it is cost cutting, like earlier people were saying, sharing the labors rather than sending back home. Set up a small kitchen with about 10, 20 lakhs and start your own delivery. Gudu was very, very correct in saying that is what I'm pleading with the organization like our South India Hotel Association. Why don't we pull in, start your own delivery services rather than giving in 26 and 25% to food aggregator? I fully agree with him. We wanted to start, but then to get the payment gateway is the biggest headache for us. We have to get our website done, another 8-9 lakhs, because are they secure when they punch their credit card? All these things are the questions which is faced by us. So dark kitchen is a way to go. I fully subscribe for it. And people who are budding entrepreneurs who cannot invest much on restaurants, today an air-conditioned restaurant costs you minimum about 70, 80 lakhs. And like somebody put in a question, yes, in Dubai, it's a minimum of 2 meters. That means a 100-seater has become overnight for me a 35-seater, 32-seater. And if I don't do it, I'm being charged 1,500 dirhams. It's like 30,000 rupees for a violation. So we have to live with, this is a new normal. It has got to be like this. Somebody put a question, will that be done in India? I'm sure they'll follow. Already Mr. Pasupathi Parikshan, he asked me, what are the rules? I've sent him the entire handbook of Dubai and that of Singapore to him. And he will take it to the FSI guys and they're going to say. So it's a matter of time, the implementation will come, social distancing is going to come. So if I am paying 100% of my employee's salary, 100% rent, 100% of my electricity, but my revenue is cut down, survival is a very big question. I'm not being pessimistic, I'm trying to be realistic is what I would say.
Thank you, sir. That's absolutely correct. Venkat Reddy, sir. So now, most of the restaurants, we are talking about the dining space, at least shut for next 3 months or 6 months, depending on the red zone or yellow zone and other zones. So how a restaurant owner can renegotiate or have some collaboration with the landlord to bring down the rent or to lease out that front facing dine-in space so they still have the brand and run as a dark kitchen? So what would you recommend?
Let us put it this way. Today, definitely we need to do social distancing if you want people to come into your restaurant. You can't do major changes overnight. So probably you can start looking at small changes that can be done, like giving alternate tables for the customers and sanitizing those tables before they are reused again. Now, this way, we are not actually demolishing the decor at any probable way. We are just redoing it so we can start using the tables alternatively, so which will give us the space, and then we have time to sanitize that table before we use the next table. Having said this, talking to a landowner, definitely yes, we need to talk to a landowner, make him understand what is happening. But how many landowners would be willing to accept the changes? Debatable. But having said this, now what we need to do is we need to make our profitability increase, which is going to be more difficult because the number of seats have come down. Like what Mahadevan sir said, everything else is at 100%. So how do we go forward? My suggestion, start looking at doing more of banqueting areas into a restaurant space. I'm sure a lot of restaurants have banquet halls which are not going to be functional. Make that also as part of your restaurant so that it can increase your number of seating. Now, these are all things which are possible in places which have all these facilities. So what happens to small and medium people? Their next alternative is probably to look at doing more of deliveries or more of takeaways or talking to them where you can get orders on the phone, keep your food ready so that people can come pick them up and go. This is going to be the norm. These people are going to accept this and keep moving forward. But when you say rental, I am really skeptical about a lot of landlords willing to come down on the rent. Maybe yes, they are willing to come down for the big players, but they may not be willing to come down for the small and medium players. That will be an area of a big issue. That is where probably a lot of restaurants will shut down because of this one single factor.
Okay, thank you. Mahadevan sir, do you think it is wise for the restaurant owners to do a co-leasing of the front space to some other office or something like that to utilize for a short time?
Absolutely. I mean, people have started it already because utilization, when my rent is 100%, my revenue is not matching. I am a rat in a box. I have to get out of it. I'll eat away. We have to do everything. Why only an office space? I'm willing to give my space a little to a budding chef if she can do the private dining space. She or he, they're most willing because we have the license, which is very difficult to get nowadays in Chennai city with the traffic arrangements. We have the space, and I am sure, you see, I've been telling this to everybody. We are right now in red. We will not turn into green overnight. There's going to be amber period. We don't know it's going to be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Vaccination, a question. People confidence is a question because they don't want to see safe. They want to feel safe. I might do a face mask. I might give a gloves, but he'll look at the next table. Is this guy a contagious guy? Is he asymptomatic guy? So this kind of a fear is going to put off people. In that case, what do? I got to use optimization of my space, my resources, not only in office. If another chef wants to come in, we are trying to partition, give the first floor to somebody else because as Venkat was very clearly saying, survival is my biggest question now. So if I had to cross the 6 months, because the industry, there was a Ken magazine, they wrote 35% of the restaurants will shut down and go. I've done it in Dubai. I've done it 5. We have 10 of the Saravana Bhavans. We have closed down, handed over the keys because rents we couldn't pay. Like Venkat clearly said, some landlords oblige. Like McDonald's can squeeze in. They've already done it with the OMR property, ECR property. 0 rent during the lockdown. 35% after the lockdown is over. And then they're going further. They have the muscle. Do I have the single entrepreneur restaurateur that she or he, as he has got this power? We do not know. So optimum utilization, like you said, is yes, but then you need cooperation there too. Like in Tamil, they say, no, Kudi Valnal Kodi Nanmai. That means if you join together, you reap crores and crores. That's the slogan of the day. I'm pleading for the association. That is why I came in today to participate in this discussion.
Thank you, sir. We will definitely take it, and that's what we are actually working towards: a collaboration and coexistence as a survival. Ilango sir, my question next to you: in the star hotels, already the food cost is a little high. So with all the hygiene factors going to come in, so is the food cost going to shoot up, or because you are not going to use the dine-in, there is no real estate cost or the power cost? If there is only going to be delivery and the takeaways, is the food cost going to reduce? So how do you see that in the star categories?
Yeah, as it is, if you can look at it, in the last 1.5 month, the food cost has gone up by, actually it is multi-floor because your cost of the vegetables have gone up, your groceries have gone up, your the packing cost is going up and everything. So I don't see the food cost is going to go down immediately. Only when there is a volume comes, only then the food cost will come down. But in the near future, I don't see that the volume is going to come back because your banqueting is not going to be there. Your restaurants are going to function only at 50% of the capacity or something like that. So we have to live with a slightly higher food cost. And the only way how we can control this is, like everybody says, okay, probably we'll have to revisit the menu, what we are having, the kind of the menu which turns into a DDH menu or something. Of course, buffets are not going to be there. So you will save a substantial part of your food cost by not putting a buffet. But your other menu, a la carte menu, will have to shrink if you want to control your cost, because your back end, your kitchen also need to maintain a social distancing. That means you cannot operate the menu what you are operating currently. So all of us are working on a cut down menu, which are very, very essential. And that is what going to happen. That is the only way we will be able to control the food cost. Yes, please go on.
Can you hear me, Mr. Naveen?
Yep, just now.
So you have then, I mean, the modernized equipments that what we use, it's not expensive. It's a modernized equipment that we use. So if you go for modernized equipment, it's going to cost high. So what do you think about the equipment cost if somebody has to come in and start up something new with this concept?
To be honest, the equipments that are currently being used in the industry is very, very sufficient to what is currently in trend. Unless there is a specialized purpose, specialized. So, for example, we're doing a churrascaria in one of our properties. Hello. Yeah, so we're doing a churrascaria in one of our properties, and this equipment has to be either coming from Brazil or we're going to manufacture it from someplace local. But what I see is equipment need is always going to be there, and unless the concept is something totally unique, I don't see anything coming in from that point of view.
I'm sorry. I mean, Venkat sir is in mute, so that's why I'm just trying to help him.
No worries.
Venkat Subbu sir. Sorry about that. One question. I'll unmute him. Admins, can you please take care of Venkata Subbu sir? Please unmute them. Sir, hygiene factor, which we are currently taking care, is it going to be long term or short term? Mahadevan sir, would you take it, sir? Because for star hotels, yes, it is. It is a norm. They are already following the FSSI. On top of it, they have to add the COVID essence. So, what would be happen to the smaller restaurant?
Ramesh, to answer this question, I go back 89, 90. That is when I started implementing ServeSafe. When I went to USA, I came back. I said, if my children eat in the restaurant, even Tatas and Birlas can come because they are the best assets. So I started implementing, and we roped in Parikshan, that is a unit of Mr. Pashupati, when they started the lab, because we brought in the third party to take the samples to get the bacterial E. coli and advise our chefs. Because to serve safe has been our policy, not now, even 10, 15 years ago. Way forward, I would advise everybody, because minute customer gets into this kind of a headache, that will be a big problem. You know, the founder of Saravana Bhavan, who created this whole brand and which I've taken it to 17 countries, his first prayer in the morning is, "Oh Lord Muruga," he used to worship. Make sure, because he used to get 100,000 plus customers in Chennai alone, make sure none of the stomachs get upset with my food. That kind of a sincerity he worked with. So hygiene is not a word because of COVID. It is a word each restaurateur has to imbibe himself into his heart and proceed accordingly. So there's a saying, if your toilet is clean, your kitchen is clean, you walk in, eat properly, that's no issues. That's a kind of a first sign. So hygiene is important. As a black sheep restaurant holders in Hong Kong has written a handbook, he is even giving an empty sanitized covers for those guests who are coming in to put their mask inside. Look at the thought. Today, you have to win over the customer. You have to retain him. Because I have 15 plus fine dining where people pay 800 rupees. So they've got to feel safe for themselves and their family. So I got to make sure I follow the social distancing. I train my boys. The online training is all my boys are exposed. And we've got cameras monitoring, easy wearing. We were the first one to bring the visor. That's a face cover. We brought it. We made it ourselves with 20 rupees with Velcro. We're giving it because we care for our staff too. It's not only the customer. Because if my staff falls sick, I don't have that kind of a replacement anymore, because half of my migrant staff are going back home. So we have to manage with whomever we have. So we got to protect our staff. So we teach them that this is for yourself first and then the guest. That is what it is. So it is not today. It was started 15, 18 years by us earlier. And for the fellow restaurateurs who are youngsters who are entering in, this is my simple thing. Follow the code, serve safe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Venkata Subbu sir, I'm really sorry. There is some kind of technical challenges happen. You are in. Can you unmute yourself?
I think it's clear.
Okay, sir, perfect. Sir, one question to you is, there is a lot of chain of restaurants, and I see there is a time where it needs to be consolidated. The non-performing restaurants have to be broken down and then consolidated to other restaurants. So do you kind of recommend that, and where is it actually going, the chain of restaurants?
Yes, sir, definitely. We have also opened only 2 non-vegetarian restaurants out of 5 in Vellore city. But we are able to do 40% of the business at present only with parcels and takeaways. If you open all the restaurants, it is impossible to do it. In the vegetarian case, it's a very worst scenario. Out of 15 restaurants, we have opened only 2 restaurants in Vellore. Not even 30% of business comes. So it is good idea to restrict the number of restaurants and give good service here. Fortunately, we are able to reduce the staff at present. There is no pressure from the staff side also, because they are unable to move from one place to another. If the problem is over, again there is a pressure to recruit all the employees. Then we are seriously thinking about to start the outdoor catering or a delivery system from our own side instead of Swiggy or Zomato. That's the only way to improve the business and give employment to our staff.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Ilangon, sir. So do you see a lot of innovation coming in? Because a lot of innovation happens in senior kitchens. So what kind of innovations are coming in the 5-star kitchens?
Definitely, there will be a lot of innovations will come. See, first of all, okay, what we were talking about is in the service aspect itself, you will be going in for the contactless dining. That means your menu, everything will either it will go into the digital or in a QR form, so that you can view in your mobile and then you can start placing the order. That is from the restaurant point of view. If you move into the kitchen, yes, of course, because of the social distancing being maintained, all these menus, everything will undergo a drastic reform. The way it is presented, everything will go. And see, because that's the way forward. We are not going to see the way how we were doing previously. So everything will change. Single portion or the presentation, everything is a combo meal or something like that only is going to be the way forward.
Thank you, sir. Gudu, sir, from a customer perspective, we want our staff, the kitchen staff, the restaurant staff to be safe. From a customer's perspective, if a customer walks in and one of the restaurant supervisor checks the temperature of the customer, because there are some checks needs to be done from a customer perspective, because no virus should enter the restaurant. So if customer is verified, what will you see as a guest? How will you see as a guest?
It is very good. I'll appreciate the restaurant. Now you go to any general stores also, supermarkets also, which are standalone supermarkets which are open, like Nilgiris and other malls. You see each and every, at the gate itself, they are giving you a sanitizer to clean your hands, and they take your temperature before they let you in. And the customer is also happy, because if I'm going to a restaurant and if I see, okay, all are good, I'm not have any fear of contacting from anyone else. It is a very welcome thing what the restaurant people are going to do. And as a customer, I'll be definitely welcoming it. Also of the social distancing, the seats arrangements and all these things. But in that also, what I previously mentioned also, that instead of giving it to some food aggregators delivery, we don't know who's going to pick up and who's going to check them and all these things. Okay. But if they themselves, their own employees, or the restaurant's own employees, go and deliver food, I'll be actually directly in contact touch with them. Okay, if there is anything, I'll be directly in touch with the restaurant person directly itself, instead of going to the food aggregator who doesn't even take the complaint also properly. So from a customer point of view, it's a very good thing if the restaurants are going to, hotels and restaurants are going to implement.
Thank you, Guru Anand. So my next question will have two perspectives. I want to ask Venkat Reddy sir as well as Chef Suresh, who has done restaurant. The question is, it's a kind of a non-educated, qualified people coming into the serving and kitchen. Many of the restaurants run in that way. So from a restaurant perspective, it has always been a difficult task to kind of educate people. So now it is a time they have to change, because unless otherwise they change, whatever effort that we do, it's going to go for a task. So Reddy sir, what would you recommend? How to train the staff at the lower level, the least level, who are even like cleaning the vessel? So how do you train them? How do you make sure like they are in par with what we are fighting against?
See, I've been doing this for the last probably 30 years now. Basically, most of the places we do, we start off with the training of the lowest staff and then move forward upward. What are the requirements? First thing is we need to make them understand the basic levels of sanitation, which probably they do not understand. So we have started doing things like having pictorial photographs and pictures put all over the place so that they can understand that they have to do this and they have to wash hands and they have to clean the vessel and they have to sanitize this. You have to steam this at this particular temperature and you have to sterilize this. These are things which are happening. They're already happening. It's not that it's new at all. But how much of it is being implemented, that is a very big debatable thing, because see, I normally run places for the owner for probably 3-4 years and hold hands and then hand it over. These 3-4 years, yes, they're all being implemented. I know for sure, because we have systems, we have counter checks, we have audits going on, we have surprise audits going on, we have cameras installed in places where we just take the footages and show them that they have not done it and question the supervisors and things. But now it becomes all the more reason for the hotel owners to take the responsibilities to ensure that all records can be and should be maintained. Now, let us say that I'm going to put a camera and say this camera is going to be put in the kitchen and people in the dining area can see the food being cooked. Straight away, the levels of hygiene will straight shoot, because everyone who's working in the kitchen is now understanding that their work is being scrutinized not by one person, but by a lot of customers who's probably going to complain if something is going to go wrong. And when you say training is a continuous process. It can never stop. If I say I stop training, you can be sure that they're going to forget. Why this is happening? Because the lower staff, the turnover of staff is very high. If I train team A, the team A, half of it may not be there at the end of probably 1 or 2 years. Now, that's why I always say train the trainer. The trainer, the people who are going to be there permanently are the ones who need to be trained and need to be told continuously that this required measures have to be taken on an ongoing process. No consultant, no owner is going to sit there and be there continuously to monitor. You're going to have people who are there who are going to monitor. They are the ones who need to be trained. They are the ones who have to be told records have to be kept. They are the ones who we have to hold responsible for things which are happening. Today, with the digital world coming into place, having cameras and where you can see what is happening, it has changed a lot. See, I've noticed that the minute I put up a camera, the changes in the kitchen, the attitudes change drastically. My dishwashing area has changed drastically. I know for sure now the places are much better. Just a small camera, which is doing the trick. So I think these are things, investments which all owners should do. It's not that it's going to be the norm anymore. Now, suppose I am able to put a kitchen camera in the kitchen and show the footage happening in the restaurant, I'm sure my customers are going to appreciate it and say that, okay, these people are serious about how clean they are keeping their kitchen. And if the kitchen is not clean, how do you think you're going to follow any other standards? Your HACCP is in place. HACCP has been there for ages. When I was a chef, I worked with HACCP. So why is it so difficult for us to even implement it today? It's because the process itself is the requirement, and that process is not accepted by a lot of owners and the supervisory level staff. Once the owners and supervisory level staff understand that it is a requirement, it is the need of the hour. If that is not there, our restaurant is going to shut down. Definitely that will be implemented. This is my take.
Thank you, sir. Chef Suresh, what would you see? I mean, practically you have experiences. So how do you see the cooperation coming from the lower level of the people?
We are doing most of the hotels, like 5-star hotels. Used to go for the food festival. I'm doing a lot of hotels, like I'm doing Ritz-Carlton, Marriott, and I'm doing for Savira also. They are very good. And I'm going for the restaurants review also, some of the restaurants. But I met a lot of restaurants, like a good restaurants, say like Vasanta Bhavan or A2B and Sangeeta. They are also maintaining the proper level. That's the reason they are standing. Even Talapagati event. Now I went the small restaurant. They're affecting only the small restaurant. I saw the roadside or the pot restaurant. There is the only problem over there. Otherwise, the restaurants are maintaining very, very properly. Even I went to the kitchen, a lot of the kitchens, even Junior Kupana, I went, the kitchen was, they asked me to come inside. Even before Corona, I went one restaurant from ECR, the seafood restaurant. They say, sir, you can come and visit even a small restaurant, but very small restaurants having the problem of the training the staff. Otherwise, well maintaining a Chennai restaurant, I saw you can compare with the other, like a 5-star hotel, you can company easily, because the food I saw, most of the restaurants, they're making fresh foods. So South Indian food, especially.
Chef, like this is about training the least level people. So how do they adapt to it? Because the owner is there, the supervisor is there, the work will happen. But then when they are not there, only, I'm talking about places where they don't follow it. So how can you ensure that even if somebody is not supervising? Yes, Mr. Venkat Reddy, sir.
See, again, like what I said, this basically starts off with the supervisor and the owners understanding the importance of training. The minute they understand this, the minute they start putting the system in place, even if it's a very small restaurant, I have done a restaurant in one place where it has only 10 covers. And probably that's one of the cleanest restaurants I've seen after 5 years. After me doing it and going back to that after 5 years, I realized that he is still following every single record that I have given him.
Good.
That particular owner has followed the records continuously. Today, if I ask him to show me records, he's able to show the records for the last 5 years. And when the owner, when the supervisor, when the managers, when they are now told that this has to be done and they take it up seriously, it is possible. So training is it's a continuous ongoing process. The minute you say I've trained and I've come off, it's not going to happen. So it's the owner and the manager who is in charge there, who has to keep on monitoring that and following it. And it's not so difficult. Trust me, it's not very difficult. It's very simple. Like it is very logical to keep things clean. Why should you not do it?
Chef Suresh, you have any challenges foresee? You see any challenges here?
According to my knowledge, if I want to tell the truth, I undergone this long time. Sometimes it's very difficult because the staffing, it's too difficult because restaurants opening like just like that and closing just like that. And the staff also coming from the north side, it's very difficult. They are not professional or they are not the college or something like that. So sometimes we scare, honestly speaking, we scare sometimes if the staff left me. If say example, if one staff goes the same time, the 20 staffs will go the same time. So sometimes you have to scare about that. So it's difficult, little bit difficult, but everything depends upon the management, not the owner. Owner is there, but the management, we have to train first the management. If when I work in the Ritz-Carlton, they have the policy, first they train the management, then only the staff. But little bit difficult is there, but depends upon the management system only, depends upon the brand and depends upon the management. Some of the brands, if I tell you the Hot Breads, they have the strong team, so the management system will be nice and good. If another like a small restaurant, suddenly they opening, they want the staff, immediately they just put the staff, it's becoming a difficult. If I want to tell you the truth, a little bit difficult only, but we have to go through the challenge and we have to pass through this.
Thank you. Venkat Subbu, sir. Sir, what is, sir, you are still in mute mode.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Sir, what will happen to the street foods and the smaller foods? Because they have to open and people need food, and a lot of people cannot afford any luxury foods. So they also have to be in the market. But with the new norms, what will happen? What is the corporation is going to control? FSSAI is going to control. So how do that system is going to work?
Sir, it is impossible to control the street food because government FSSAI also they include as a separate sector. Street food, so we can't think about closing down of the street food, but there are still customers who want hygienic, good food and prestigious food. They are coming to our restaurant. It is different from other country or other some states. Our place is very hot, very dusty. Here, mainly those who want hygienic, good food won't go to the street vendors. They will come to the restaurant alone. If we give the continuously good food, definitely we need not afraid of the street food. It's impossible to control also. In our system, street food is most important thing, not only here, in almost entire India or other countries also. So we need not think about closing down of the street food and others. We have to compete with them. There is no comparison with them. Our food is far good, far hygienic. That's why we are giving continuous training to our staffs to give hygienic. Now people very much afraid. For example, one CMC doctor came to our restaurant. He told me, sir, yesterday I had a food, today I have some problem. We said, sir, you come and visit our kitchen, you compare to anywhere, any other kitchen. He told very clearly, I am coming only to Darling. I want hygienic, safe food from you. You need not compare to anybody else. Then we took all other additional precautions to safeguard everybody. It is very, very important. We have to safeguard ourselves. Today I am supplying 16,000 food packets every day to the quarantine, COVID-19 quarantine persons. I am very much afraid of it. If something happen, immediately it will reflect on me. I call the collector and the FSS people, you inspect our kitchen now itself. If something happen in somewhere, then you hold me. It is not like that. We are very much confident. We are taking all the measures, whatever possible. Mr. Mahadevan sir also sent what is happening in Dubai. We implement that also. In some other countries also we got it and implement everything. When we are supplying good hygienic food, we need not bother about the street vendors. That is there.
So they can also work in parallel, and government will also allow them to work. That's what you're saying.
Yes. They want to streamline them.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Guruji.
Yeah, I just want to say that from a restaurateur point of view and a customer point of view also, both. Hygiene, now awareness of hygiene is more nowadays. Due to this virus, even XYZ person, everybody has come to know about the awareness of the hygiene. Now, it's up to the restaurant, whether small or big, if they want to survive, they have to take the hygienic factors into their account. Now, you cannot ignore that. Even a tea kadai, whatever the tea kadai you open my residence and all this, they are also not allowing people to throw glasses on the road. They are not allowing people to spit on the road. So even a tea kadai person has become aware of all this virus. And this is a very good thing, and which can lead to any cleanliness and hygiene what our government was supporting from last 5-7 years, Swachh Bharat. I think this is a God-sent opportunity which has come into awareness of everyone that hygiene is the most important factor of dining out and all this.
So you're saying people are going to demand that? People going to demand the hygiene?
Hello?
Yeah, Guruji.
No person will compromise on hygienic if you are going to a restaurant. I don't think so. If you are taking a family out, you will first see a hygienic factor of the restaurant and then only you will go.
Okay. Okay, just a quick time check. We have 5 more minutes for this panel discussion. One thing following up, Guruji, the prices you have seen all the restaurant owners, consultants speaking, the prices are hiking and they are reducing the cost of the operations, okay, including the salary. So from a normal person and a consumer or a foodie perspective, if we have to increase the menu cost as a consumer, would you accept it?
Yeah, definitely. If I'm getting good quality, good hygienic, I'm definitely going to accept. There's no thinking about that I'm not going to accept it. See, after all, I want the importance on the safety factor of myself and my family members. Okay, if I'm going out to dine out and all these things. And second thing, from the restaurateur point of view, as a restaurateur also I'm saying, the landlords have to cut down the rate of it, rent and all these things. Because if I know one of my friends' restaurant, he's done a fine dine restaurant. He said his landlord not to take the rent for the month of April, which was shut down. He said, you can vacate it. He said, okay, I'll vacate it. Now, if he vacates it, whatever the person is getting money in that also, will any restaurant come into that now immediately? No. So there's a two-way thinking. People, those who want to invest also, they will also think twice whether to go into the industry or not. So it's a win-win factor for the restaurants also, for the landlords also. If they compromise, come together, reduce the rent, reduce the cost, and there only we have to see now reduction. That is what I said in previously also, in my previous point of view. Instead of stacking the employees, utilize them in some other way.
Okay.
Utilize them.
So you are saying that you want to see the hygiene factor. sorry, you want to see the hygiene factor in the restaurant. So my idea is like, if all the restaurant can open a webcam or a CCTV camera of the kitchen to the outside world, like keeping a TV outside, like we used to keep a banner outside, today special. So we can put a TV outside the restaurant telling, see my kitchen.
Yeah, that
And
is
how
also
is
there. Or apart from that, open kitchen is also good factor. Open
Okay.
kitchen, a glass kitchen, or a camera monitor, no problem at all. So
Okay.
see, the restaurant owners have to win the customer's confidence.
Okay.
They
Thank
have
you.
to win
Thank
the
you.
customer's confidence. That
Yes.
okay, we are hygienic, we are hygiene aware, we are taking care of all the factors.
Thank
So
you. Thank
please
you.
come and visit us, or
Yeah.
please come and take food from us. Please take away parcels from us. And you've seen, I was very much appreciate. I don't know whether Mr. Sandeep Bhatnagar of Ramada Plaza GM is here or not, but or Holiday Inn Passion. Now, whatever ordered food from that, being a foodie, I'm still ordering from outside. The day that takeaway delivery started, I'm still ordering from outside. The gloves, shoppers come in the car with the mask, carry bags and all these things, and they contactless. They just hand it over and go out.
Okay.
Don't appreciate all these things. And I'm directly in contact with those restaurants. I'm not depending on the food aggregator. And I've never ordered from any food aggregator till now.
Thank you. Sir, one question to Mahadevan, sir. You always being an innovation, and both from a food perspective as well as from a customer attractive perspective. So is there any food innovation that's going to come up in the frozen space? So there's one question that has come from the participant, like heat it, like take the food, heat it, and then have it. So any innovation that's going to come up, but frozen food is always a retail business. It never be in a restaurant business. So do you see that's happening, that's going to happen, or that is the need of the hour?
Yes, Ramesh. Before that, I have to answer one question which has come in. I don't know whether you saw it in the panel. It was asking about the vendors. We have very limited time now. We have crossed. I was here when the tsunami happened. We closed and opened our restaurant, but that was a break of about 4 or 5 days. Then the Chennai floods happened. That was again a close of 5-6 days. Now this COVID has happened. These three particular things. This particular participant in the panel, I mean, I do not know, the question came just to me. They're talking about vendors. Now the suppliers have given us in faith their products. We have to give them the money. As I told you, in the March first week itself, our sales started climbing down. It went southwards. So what happened to the kind of bills? Because usually we restaurateurs, Suresh Chinnasamy will agree, we pay the February bill in April, April bill in May, or like that we keep 60 days or 30 days credit. Now we are all stuck with the earlier payments. So to those restaurateurs who are asking this question, we have this follow-up system of zeroing the vendors. That is, from the month when we open, we pay cash and carry. The earlier months, we have applied to the bank. I've even asked Mr. Venkata Subbu to follow up. Do we get a special rate or something? Government is being pushed forward with the association. Today, I'm paying 10.7%. The same way, I cannot borrow and pay my earlier bills. My salaries, whatever the reserves I built in, again to the fellow restaurateurs, I advise to keep some reserve. That's what kept me going in March and April. And even if May, if the lockdown is going to be continued till Ramadan, I should pay the salaries, a part of it at least. So build up the reserves in future you're going. Vendors, start from the day one cash and carry, because they have suffered with you. The old bills, slowly get the bank loan or pay in part of your retained earnings. This is what the zero system we went in. On your question on innovation, I'm already on talks with the food box guys. You know them. They install the food box in the airport and things like that. This is the contactless, the frozen food or the chilled food. They keep boxes in offices and you store your food. It's got a code. You come and press the code which comes through your app or your telephone. You press the code, only your box opens. This is going to be a new normal. People are not going to come in like earlier, you saw the addicted guys running to the liquor shop. Will they come to a fine dine of Marina where they pay $1,000? It's a question mark. To Benjarong, $750, it's a question mark. So we have to innovate. We are looking at, somebody talked about pre-packed combo food. I think it was Chinnasamy. Yes, we are getting into that kind of a thing. Get boxes, keep it in buildings, deliver, give them the code, They pay by gateway, come and punch and take their food. This is happening. This kind of vending units are happening in Singapore. It has to come into India. We have asked, we are even going to fund them to start it so that the fellow restaurateurs can afford to get it. They're looking at leasing also later. The same food box guys are coming out with this. Food, like your post boxes, it'll be only pigeonholes where you leave your food. The particular customer gets his OTP one-time pass. He comes in, puts in, and takes his food and go from the office building. These are all the way forward, the new normal. And thank you very much. I've taken enough and more time.
Thank you, sir. I will stop with one question has come, this last question. Ilagoan, sir. So there is a saying that the restaurant has to be operated, the AC restaurant. Non-AC, there is no, absolutely no issue. AC restaurant 24 to 27 degree or above 27 degree. So being a star hotel, so how does it feasible and what is the options you have?
Actually, we are talking to the experts to understand the implications and things like that. With that only, then we'll have to come to a conclusion, because definitely these are the talks which are going on, but we'll have to study in depth and then we'll have to understand it. Because so far there is no official guidelines have come, only the discussions are on. So when that comes only, then, because see, 24 degrees is still, it is okay. But then when it comes to 26 or 27, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable for everybody to sit in the restaurants. So we need to understand the guidelines and then only we'll have to come to a conclusion.
Okay. Naveen, one last question, because same person, Pramil Joshi, he's been asking for the third time. Dear sir, your customers and diners are getting poorer. So due to salary cuts, layoffs, I'm talking about their own living conditions. So how can you increase the prices are you going to increase the prices short term or mid term? Are you going to increase it?
Definitely, I think if the model is going to be more on delivery and stuff like that, because as all of the panel have pointed out, that the existing prices are going to go up. So the cost of production of the food will also increase, and obviously with the other hygiene factors that go into it, packaging and etc. So it is but normal that you have to match what the market prices are. You can't buy at a higher rate and sell at a loss just because that's what the world is. But yes, there are ways to go around it. There's menu engineering at hand, and there are various other factors that are at hand. But you have to compete with what you're buying. You just cannot lower your thing just because it's like that. At the end of the day, you have to sustain yourself also, because that's how the whole business model works. There's a percentage for everything, right? As they say.
Okay, thank you. So few questions are there. I will, if panelists have questions, or if any participant have question, please post it. We will get back to you with the questions. So thank you, panelists and the guest of honor and the chief guest. I would like you to stay for some more time. I want to introduce Hema Manu Anand. She is a motivator. Now that we know this is going to come up, this is only a short time. Hema Manu Anand, he is here to kind of give us a motivation. She is a life coach. She has turned herself into a role model of getting first NLP trained from India Women NLP. So Hema, just quick to you. So on a time check, please take 10 to 12 minutes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, given the time pressure, I'm going to be really quick, and I want you all to understand what I'm saying. If you have questions, you can ask me at the end. Number one, everybody talks about uncertainty, and I know some people are comfortable with the uncertainty. They're looking at it as an opportunity. For example, we just listened to Mr. Venkateshwara Reddy. He seems like this is a chance for us to do new things. Let's get excited rather than feel bad about it. Some people feel like Mr. Venkateshwara Reddy. Some people are feeling very rejected. And I can see none of you are feeling rejected here, but there are people out there, some restaurant owners who are feeling very rejected, people in different professions feeling very rejected that this is a horrible time. And to all of them, I ask one question. What is it really uncertain about right now? They tell me these answers. Number one, I don't know if I will be able to make money for the next 3 months. Number two, I don't know if I will survive this. If everything goes down, what will happen to me and my family? And how can I survive this mentally, physically? Number three, will I have customers who walk into my business? Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. But you know what? I asked them this question. Think about it and tell me, are these uncertainties only now, or it was there even before Corona? Were you ever guaranteed that you'll have money? Were you ever guaranteed that you will live, your family will live? When we walk out of the house, there are so many accidents, so many infections out there. Were you ever guaranteed that customers are going to walk in? If it was guaranteed, then we won't even advertise. Am I right or wrong? If we were guaranteed there will be customers, then in our bags that you give and take away, you won't even need to put your restaurant name. People are going to turn up every day. There was no guarantee ever in life. Uncertainty was the constant in our life. The day we were born till the day we are going to leave, uncertainties are the only constant. The only thing that got different is when we all started the restaurant, we were looking at uncertainties and we were working towards how to fix it. You would do marketing, you would talk to people, you would collaborate. And then at a point, you get too busy with your work that you forget uncertainties and you focus on how to build the business. And now, again, the uncertainties have creeped up. So what should you do? Just like how you started, now focus on how can you change this. Within this circumstance, what can you change? And some brilliant ideas were shared here. And just before Corona lockdown happened, on February 21st, I did a training for an IT company. And it was for a group of people. It was meant to give them, we didn't know that was going to be locked down. So I was there and I was really excited. And I said, we Indians, we have very strong immune system. We will be fine, blah, 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 all the talks that we normally say. And I told them, just in case if we have the lockdown, if we did have the lockdown, and I promise you, I told that, imagine if you have a restaurant and the restaurant industry is struggling. What will be your ideas? And I taught them about how to deal with uncertainties. And I told them, you can't open the restaurant. Can't deliver. You have 3 months time. So what are you going to do? What will be your ideas? And these kids came up with some amazing, brilliant ideas. One of the kids just stood up and said, ma'am, I'm going to have my restaurant have a menu called Corona free menu. And I laughed at it. The moment you say the word Corona, nobody's going to turn up, kiddo. He said, then I'm going to turn it as immuno-boosted menu. And one kid stood up and said, ma'am, I know somebody who does yoga. There is this thing called Bhastrika. When you do Bhastrika, it warms up your body and no infection can sustain in your body. So when people walk in, there will be a video of Bhastrika. And I thought, brilliant, kiddo. And like this, they were able to come up with ideas. So what am I saying here? The uncertainties have always been there. Now the question is, what are you focusing on? If you focus on the uncertainties of what won't work, of course, you're going to feel horrible. You will blame the government, you will blame Corona, you will blame everybody possible. Instead, what can you focus on? We know that the restaurants can open maybe in a month's time, but what is it that you can do in the meantime? There are so many people who have started YouTube channels, and you guys are amazing. If you start a YouTube channel and show us how to make a dish, amazing. People like me who don't know cooking, I would want to make vada like Vasanta Bhavan. I want to make bread like hot breads. You don't have to share all the secrets, but one menu a day, you will have so many subscribers. Your people will have excitement. They'll have to stand there and do it from the comfort of their own house. The question is, what are you choosing to focus on? Uncertainties are certainties. I can wrap it here, Ramesh. If I have time, I can tell a story. It's up to you.
How long it's going to take?
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, please go ahead. It's interesting.
Thank you. I used to live in Melbourne. I lived in Melbourne from 2001 till 2013. And my life was just like you would see in Hollywood movies. Happy every weekend, traveling around the world, living the life that you see in movies. And something happened in my life that I can't share here. Tragedy happened just like people's unexpected. I had a bigger version of Corona happen in my life in 2010-11. It put me apart, tore me apart, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I had to come back to India. The fact is not because my visa expired. I'm a citizen. I'm a dual citizen. But my life came to a stall where I had to come back to India. I have worked in corporate and, lived this high life. Coming back to India in 2013, I did not know how I'm going to sustain. How am I going to live in India? I can't work for a corporate. Indian corporates are different from Western corporates. I don't know what to do. And business, I don't have business gene in my body. What am I going to do? My friend Misa, she's a Japanese healer. She lives in Melbourne. She told me this story. Hema, remember the story every time you have uncertainty, every time you think things are falling apart. There were two sadhus two angels. She called them angels. Two angels came to earth. One of them was a younger angel, one of them was an older angel. Let's just say one of them was looking like Suresh, one of them was looking like Mahadevan. Two angels came to earth and they wanted to see how the life is in earth. So they were walking and they saw this big mansion. They went to the mansion, knocked the house, and the guy opened the door and he said, and these sadhus said, look, we are angels from heaven. We actually want to experience this earth. Can we stay with you for a day? And the man said, no way. I don't know who you are. I can't trust you. You say you're an angel. Show me some magic. The angel said, the older angel was calm and said, look, I can't show you. That's not who we are right now. Can we stay with you just for one night? Give us a small space. We'll be fine. So he gave in the basement, he gave a small little shack. Stay there where all the storage materials were there. Stay there for the night. In the middle of the night, there was noise, rocking noise. And the younger angel, who was like Suresh, he woke up and he saw the older angel like Mahadevan fixing a hole. And Suresh got angry. He said, why are you doing this? This guy is so rich and he doesn't have the heart to help anybody. If he has a hole in the wall, why do you want to fix it? Let him deal with it. And the older angel said, it's not what it's looked like, kiddo. And Suresh thought, whatever, I don't care. And then he went back to sleep. The next day, they walk out and they keep walking, and they see this little tiny hut. They smell this milk. So they go and knock the door. It was a husband and wife. They open the door and these guys go, look, we've been walking for a long time and we are angels from the heaven and we are really hungry. We smell milk. Can we get a little bit of milk, please? And these two people said, actually, it doesn't matter whether you're from heaven or hell, but you look old and tired and you both look so tired. Let me give you guys can stay with us. Eat whatever we have. We have one cow and that cow milk is amazing. Please sit with us. But we have only one bed. So you have to sleep in the bed. We'll sleep on the floor. So these guys were thinking, amazing, amazing. So they had the milk-filled food, curd, yogurt, everything. And in the middle of they go to bed. In the middle of the night, again, there is this cry, big, huge noise. And younger angel wakes up first and he goes out to see what it is. And he sees that both the husband and wife are crying because the cow died. And he was so mad. He came back to the older angel, woke him up and said, how dare you didn't do anything? With that rich people, you closed the wall when they could afford it. But with these poor people who have nothing but just a cow, you could not save them. You are an angel. You could have saved them. Why didn't you do anything? And the older angel said, it's not what it looks like. And the younger angel said, I don't care. It's horrible. It's unfair. And the older angel said, I'll tell you what happened. Yesterday, we saw the hole in that wall. Through that hole on the other side, there was a treasure. They built that house in a place where the kings used to live. So there was a treasure room filled with golds, diamonds, and every possible precious things. And I did not want these people to get those. These people deserve those kind of treasures. So I closed the hole in such a way that they will never be able to open it. And in this house, the death angel came. You know how death angel is. When the death angel comes, he has to go with the body. Death angel came and he didn't come for the cow. He came for the lady. And I begged the death angel to not take the lady because the husband and wife have nobody but each other. And he said, I need to take, if not for the wife, I'll take the husband. And I said, don't take the husband and wife, take the cow. They can buy another cow, but they can't buy each other. And the death angel took the cow. Now tell me, was I fair or unfair? God's actions are always like this. Whether you believe in God or not, doesn't matter. Whether you believe in science or nature, doesn't matter. Every action has a positive intention in the world. We just don't know what it is. Right now, we are going through a difficult time, but I promise you, in a few years, we'll look back and we'll be glad that we crossed this bridge happy. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Hema. That was very interesting and very useful at this point of time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very interesting, really. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Special thanks from the old angel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ravi sir, thank you for coming back. So we are just concluding, sir.
My phone is dead. That's why I cut the
No
video.
problem, sir.
I should personally thank Ravi sir to bring me across to the board again. Venkata Subbu sir, Ravi is my carrying angel. Thanks, Ravi.
So we will share the video materials of this record, so you can share it with your important people then and circle around. And thank you very much, Mahadevan sir, Ravi
our
sir,
pleasure.
Venkat sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you for valuable inputs. And Ilango sir, Venkat Reddy sir, Chaps Naveen and Suresh. Guru sir, your perspective. Thank you very much. And Ravi sir, as usually, we want to bless you and be along with you to support the entire system. So thank you very much. Thank you very much all the participants for listening to us last 1.5 hours and all your questions. If you have any unanswered questions, we'll get back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Bye.